What's up, guys? It's DDP back for a quick edition here of a live stream for the Cowboys. I'm a little bit worked up right now, I'm not gonna lie. I've been constantly having to talk about the Amari Cooper trade, and I get it, it's bye week, stuff like that's gonna happen. But one of the, I don't know if consequence is the right word, but one of the issues in this circumstance is you're going to have people based on the other based on the other trades that were made in the lead up to the deadline. You're going to have other people basically weighing pros and cons, saying you should have gotten this guy or you should have gotten that guy. I don't care about what those other options are, because if you apply even an ounce of thinking to the situation, you're going to see that those other guys weren't a fit for Dallas to go get. It doesn't make any damn sense if you just think about it. So the examples people like to go to, they like to compare. So Dallas gave up a first for Amari Cooper. I said I loved picking up the player. The price was a little rich for my blood. I would have liked a round 2 pick, but that's not what we got. Other people are looking at this and they're saying you should have gone and gotten Golden Tate, who the Eagles got for a 3rd, or you should have gotten Demaryius Thomas, who the Texans got for a 4th. So let me get real quick into all of this. Here's why this is infuriating for me. Amari Cooper is 24 years old, and like a pretty fresh 24 years old. He's only 6 months older than Calvin Ridley, the guy that a lot of you fans wanted us to take, and I don't mean to say you fans, I mean in general. You know who you are if this is what you thought. If you felt the better move was to go get Calvin Ridley in the 1st round, well, here you go. You got a guy that's basically the same age, who's another nuanced route runner, except he's already been to 2 Pro Bowls. And even though he's had a bit of a rough last year and a half, let's be real, you guys were defending Des Bryant for the longest time, and he had a rough 2.5 years before things fell out here. So to look at it from that perspective and to say flat out, you should have gone and gotten Demaryius Thomas. Demaryius Thomas got his huge deal the same summer Des got his. Neither guy ultimately lived up to the contract, and there's a reason both teams moved on before then. But if your logic, and there are people who are going to compare this, the logic people are looking at is basically what Demaryius Thomas did in his last year and a half versus what Amari Cooper did in his last year and a half. So let's take a look at this. First of all, Demaryius Thomas, as I said, 30 years old, will be 31 Christmas Day this year. So he's going to turn 31 in season. Demaryius Thomas, since 2017, all of last year and the first half of this year, 196 targets, 119 receptions, 1,351 yards, 8 touchdowns. That's not bad. I mean, you're talking a 2-year window. Obviously, it's not the numbers he was putting up before, but it's certainly not bad. Here's why this is frustrating to me. The argument, the debate I got in that got me in such a heated mood earlier was someone making this argument and effectively saying that Demaryius Thomas is close to done, is what they're asserting. They're saying he's close to done. The Texans only gave up a 4th on him, so the Cowboys would have been better off also giving up a 4th for him instead of Amari Cooper, because his production the last year and a half is pretty similar to Amari Cooper's production in Oakland. That makes no damn sense. 24 end of season, again, a fresh 24 versus 31 by end of year. Which guy has the higher ceiling in this case? You're going to take the guy who is not a movement just to try and save this season, but to help you in the future as you move forward. Demaryius Thomas doesn't do that. He certainly doesn't help you in the future. I don't even know that he has enough left in the tank to help you right now. It doesn't make sense, and that's why it's infuriating to me. Amari Cooper, same window. 128 targets, 70 receptions, 960 yards, 8 touchdowns. So let me break down the difference for you here. Demaryius Thomas in the same span got 68 more targets for only 391 yards more. That's 5.75 yards more per target than Amari Cooper. And they're equal on touchdowns. Like, to look at it and suggest one of these things is clearly better than the other, but to suggest it's this one that's better doesn't make a lick of sense. And this is why it's so infuriating to me that people aren't considering the common sense angle, which is How old is the guy? Is he likely to continue to rebound or at least regain some form? Or is he likely to continue a gradual slide, as is the case with Demaryius Thomas most likely? It doesn't add up. And this is why I am beyond frustrated, because it feels like everyone from media members, I've heard some media personalities here in Dallas on the radio basically making that assertion that Dallas would have been better off with like Golden Tate. Okay, Golden Tate, cool. 30 years old. Third round investment. Okay, so he's a good slot receiver. Well, you've already got that with Cole Beasley. And no disrespect to Golden Tate. He's a cowboy killer, and he's a guy who, before the Lions game, I gave one warning about the Lions offense, and it was Golden Tate. He goes for $130 and 2 touchdowns. There's something there. But at the same time, and also to his credit, to Golden Tate's credit, from the time he signed with the Lions till now, I think he's like the 4th or 5th in the league in terms of total reception yards. The dude's a beast, there's no doubt. But to suggest that you should have gone with that versus Amari Cooper is silly to me. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't fit long term. You already have a slot guy in place. What about the Josh Gordon angle? Okay, let's consider Josh Gordon. Josh Gordon was gotten for a 5th round pick by the Patriots. He's also a guy who one more pop for the drug violation and he's done. Career ban, like lifetime ban, over. You know who else has that already in Dallas? Randy Gregory. Why would you want 2 guys with that kind of issue? And being a Baylor product, Dallas knows all about Josh Gordon. They did their research on it. If you look at it from an on-field perspective, is that great? Sure. But think about it this way. The guy missed like 43 games in his career for various suspensions. You guys were ready to call Randy Gregory, and by the way, you're not necessarily incorrect because we haven't seen enough to weigh either way anyway, but you guys were ready to label Randy Gregory a failure in this case. And again, I'm not speaking to all of you generally. I'm speaking to the people. You know who you are. You know. So you were ready to throw Randy Gregory under the bus and say it's a waste, they've, total bust, ruined, whatever. Gordon was a 1st rounder, and he's missed 43 games. He's missed like 2 years straight at one point. Like, it's not the same. Why would you say, hey, that's what they should have gone and done, is go get Josh Gordon instead? It doesn't make sense. You've had 0 off-the-field issues with Amari Cooper. Again, 1st rounder, rich for my blood, but you're still talking about a guy who's been to 2 Pro Bowls, had 2 monster productive years to start his career, and it's been the last year and a half that he's dropped off. And some of the same people, I've heard even within the fan base, some of these people who are in the, hey, they should have just gone and gotten Dez back. Okay, again, that doesn't help you towards the future because Dez is 30, heading toward 31, just like Tate, just like Demaryius Thomas. Only Dez hasn't played in 8 weeks or whatever of this season. He hasn't played since the end of last season. No way Dez comes in is in any kind of shape to help this season or anything like that. It doesn't fit. But if your argument for getting Dez as opposed to Cooper, which I heard people say, like, hey, instead of spending a 1st on Cooper, just go get Dez back. All right, so if you believe that Cooper isn't worth the investment because he hasn't produced at a number 1 receiver level for a year and a half, tell me why the hell you think Dez is a better re-signing. Put aside the age, which is ridiculous in itself, but put aside the age, look pure and simple at what he's done in recent years. Oh, that's quarterback. That's what that, okay, everything's quarterback. Nothing else has anything to do with the fact that Dez had more than 10 drops last year, was one of the highest drop receivers in the league last year. By the way, Cooper has that problem too, and I've been clear on the record making that point. But to look at it from one side and say with absolute certainty, yes, Dez makes more sense in this case. And only in the sense of money, which money is not going to be a problem for this team moving forward. They have a lot of cap space opening up this summer. This is a 24-year-old proven receiver who effectively, again, 6 months older than the receiver everyone wanted out of Alabama this year, Calvin Ridley. It's essentially, yes, you're having to pay him more now, but you're able to do it. You can take on 1 or 2 of these deals at a time where it's not an ideal contract. But it's still a guy that's a proven commodity who has never had an off-the-field problem. and who is capable of giving you those big plays. A nuanced route runner, a guy who can give you those big plays, those strong Des Bryant-esque plays. And he's 24 years old, so he's just entering his physical prime. Why on earth would we want to go back to the guy who hasn't had a great year since 2014? There's no reason. There is no reason here. Let me see here. I notice, so I've had the chat muted on the screen. I've not seen your guys' stuff yet. I'm bringing it up now. I wanted to get through my initial tear. I don't have a whole lot of time for this stream, but I wanted to get through the initial tear and let you guys know. Glare, what's up? First in the house as always. Boomer Sooner, what up, DDP? I thought this was Golden Tate versus Amari Cooper deal. This was Demaryius Thomas versus Amari Cooper, and I also talked about Tate and Gordon on that side as well. Looking forward to Sean Lee knocking Golden Tate's tots in the next week. I like it. I like it. Yak King, yes sir, Marcos. Jordan Lewis was laughing at the Golden Tate deal. Tate is 31. Tate is already 31? I thought I looked it up earlier and saw that he turns 31, whatever, 30 or 31. It's if he is 31, that just goes even further to the side of why do you think he's what Dallas needs right now? And again, I'm not saying you specifically. I'm talking generally to the people who are making that argument. Our secondary will be tested against Jeffrey, Aguilar, Ertz, Goddard, Matthews, and Tate. Yes, it will. DDP, in my opinion, Amari Cooper is better than Golden Tate. I agree, buddy. Definitely a higher ceiling, and if he hadn't had a year-and-a-half drop-off, people wouldn't even be making the argument that he's not. So, Cooper is inconsistent. Tate is productive. Tate is very productive. Cooper, he has been inconsistent, especially in the last year-and-a-half, when the Oakland as a whole has kind of gone backwards, and now this year they don't like to throw the ball much. Look at Vach Lombardi's great film breakdown. He's done a couple breakdowns of the good tape and the bad tape of Amari Cooper. Fantastic watch. I highly recommend checking it out. It gives a lot of context to it. And let's just say Oakland has its own quarterback problems that get overlooked a lot. Marquise, LOL, off topic. We trade bond. That is definitely off topic. Tonight we take an L. Barnes, Powell, Millsap, Porter. Yeah. Flows infinite. I agree with the first round pick. Agree that that was the right investment, or agree that it was a little rich, but it's still worthwhile to get that level of a player, and with the upside that he has. That's up for debate for sure. So I've been going about 13 minutes here. I know this is a super short stream. I had a rant I wanted to get to. Again, you guys follow me for more context and all this between my streams. Follow me. You can either follow at Dallas Prospect on Twitter, or you can follow my my personal account as well, at DDP_journalist as well. I've got some Cowboys articles dropping here in the next week for Dallas Sports Fanatic as well. A new Mavericks one is going up today. Check that out. Follow the page, subscribe, all that stuff. I am going to work overtime to give you guys more content than ever before, and I'm going to be willing to cut loose a little bit and not just be so straight-laced by the numbers guy as I mean, I still provided numbers and context here as well, but I'm not going to be just the kind of Poindexter feel for it. If you guys like this format, if you like a little fire, to this show, let me know. I will gladly come on here and rant all the damn time if you guys like this. Boomer Sooner, thoughts on OU being ranked 7th? I was thinking 6th, but you know they're going to have something change up in that regard, whether it's Michigan tripping up or something. The teams that are in front of them, I would say 2 of the 3 are guaranteed a loss between now and then, just because they have to face each other. So it'll take care of itself. OU wins out, they're fine as long as Michigan gets tripped up. So that's a video for another time. That's all my time for this show, guys. I will be back on here tomorrow night talking with Law and James, previewing the Titans game. Hang tight. A lot of great stuff coming. Until next time, I've been DDP. And remember, every legend was once a prospect. Salute.